acting and the pathos of being a Nawab. Look at this man, like when you see a rich man misbehaving himself in the midst of a party and I said, oh my God. Not been done by any actor or director ever before, that somebody is having sex mid-air. He's hot-tempered, he's indisciplined, rude, difficult to manage, any kind of thing that, they sort of, in their own sweet way, blacklist you. That happened with me and Adhyayan. I know that for sure. Less qualified, less competent, and gives it to somebody else. That is nepotism. An actor giving a role to his son or somebody giving to his brother is not nepotism. वो तो उत्तराधिकारी is the heir apparent. उसको ही जाएगा. And as an actor, I think I'm most untapped, undiscovered actor. Either you do it the way you want to do it, or you don't do it. There are no two ways about it. There's no midway.
Shekhar Suman, I welcome you to Times Network. It's really
Thank you.
Such a big moment for me to meet you once again. I think I last met you at JW Marriott. I called you for an interview when you were doing a lot of TV after Movers and Shakers.
Yes.
And you came down specially for my interview. I want to thank you again for that.
No, not at all. My privilege. I've seen your growth and I've seen you, how you have fought your own demons and fought your own destiny. And you made a name for yourself and you made a place for yourself and you have been very forthright and conscientious. The tribe that you don't find anymore.
Thank you. That really is a huge compliment. But I think it stems from what you were doing also.
Yes, in a way.
Movers and
Shakers, yes.
You know, you were so candid.
Yes, fearless.
And people took it sportingly.
Yes, that was the best part of it.
Today I want to ask you a question. I know Mr. Vajpayee met you.
Yes, yes, all of that, yes.
You used to talk over Balasaheb Thackeray.
Yes.
Today, will you be able to do the same?
I ask you that. I ask you that.
In any sphere?
No, I ask you that. Will you allow me to do Movers and Shakers? Can I be that forthright? Can I get away with what I was doing then? Can I be fearless? Can I speak my mind? Can I? And with no malice, no nothing.
Yeah.
Just being on the precipice with no agenda. You know, just a voice, a common man's representative. I would, whenever I would say or speak my mind out, people would say, I just wanted to say that, or I wish I could say that. And that's how it resonated. But will I be able to do it today is a question that I keep asking myself. And when people ask me, often and everywhere, when I travel, there's just one question. Apart from the fact that they want to see me as an actor in various roles, this is one inevitable question that is unavoidable. Why ain't you doing Movers and Shakers? We have grown up with that. The family used to watch it and we so appreciated what you did and nobody has been able to kind of replace you in that genre. So I have no answer. Maybe it'll happen when it has to.
So I understand your answer that it's impossible to do that in today's times. But have you tried selling that concept again?
No.
You know, okay, I want to do this. I'm going to say things like this.
See, it's easy for me today. I can do it. I can have my own channel on YouTube and I can start doing it. Nobody can stop me through podcasts or through. But I'm a more conventional guy. I wanted to do it on television the way it was. You know, I can do it and nobody can stop me. I can have my own show anywhere, whatever I want to do, whatever I want to say. But that acceptance has to come from elsewhere. That, okay, come and do it, right? I think people are scared now for whatever reasons. And I believe that even on television, that when you do, there is something called S&P, right? You heard of that. So that's obviously a sort of a censorship. Any word that you breathe, anything that you say, it's like you can't say it, you can't talk about it, you can't take names. So if you cannot take names, if you cannot talk about this or that, then what the hell are you doing there? You may as well not. Either you do it the way you want to do it, or you don't do it. There are no two ways about it. There's no midway.
So has your personality changed? I mean, because you don't do that kind of work anymore, does it make you a different person in real life as well?
No.
You air your views when you are in the midst of your friends.
Yes, I do. and to myself and to my family. So yeah, no, I haven't lost that edge of mine. That's an inherent part of me, which I've always sort of looked for and honed. And I was born with that talent of reviewing things, of being a critic, and not a malicious one. Somebody who embodied or embodies truth, honesty, and sincerity.
But उससे तकलीफ होती है आपको because you're saying you can talk to yourself more today. So इतनी बड़ी चीज़ आके इतनी हो गई है.
नहीं, मैं इतना नहीं हूँ. जब मैं अपने आप से बात करता हूँ, मैं जनता का हिस्सा हूँ और मैं उतना ही बड़ा हूँ जितनी बड़ी जनता है, क्योंकि I represent that. Okay, the voice is not going out, but somewhere probably it's echoing in its own sweet way. कहीं यदा कदा यहाँ से वहाँ से वो बातें निकल आती हैं. But yes, there is this intense desire to do it. And if somebody is listening, if there are any takers, take me on, I'm waiting.
Okay, so Shekhar Suman is ready. But Shekhar Suman made a very big statement, I remember, not so in recent past again, though I would have loved to have something from you in the recent past, when you said that your and your son's career, Adhyayan's career, was cut short by a few people in the industry. And
thwarted would be the right word, not cut short, thwarted. There are obstacles on
Fine.
Yeah.
I take my word back and it's sorted. You said there are 4 or I think 5 people who are out there.
They lead the show.
Yeah.
They lead the show. I'm sure there are always, in any profession, there are about 4 or 5 leaders, right, who lead the show. They could be anyone. They're faceless, they're nameless, but they are there. And I cannot sort of vindicate that with so much authority because I need proof for that, right? But I've heard from here and there people, and sometimes from the horse's mouth as well. People who are close to them. And you get a fair sort of an idea that this is what's going on behind your back. It's very simple, like your name is recommended for a film and a particular person who would sit and strike it out or say something unsavory about you. It could be anything. He's hot-tempered, he's indisciplined, he's rude, it's difficult to manage, any kind of thing that probably the other person would not have the time to kind of check back. And says, we don't have the time and get into trouble.
Okay, so blacklist him.
So yeah, they sort of, in their own sweet way, blacklist you. That happened with me and Adhyayan. I know that for sure. But people would like to know who are these people I'm talking about. Your guess is as good as mine. So I wouldn't say anything. I wouldn't name, I wouldn't hint. But I know that there are a bunch of people. There is, often there has been talks of nepotism. Nepotism happens normally in government offices. Sarkari daftaron mein hota hai, when there are jobs and somebody sitting out there assigns a job to their, जिसे हिंदी में कहते हैं भाई भतीजावार, अपने भाई या भतीजों को दे दिया, who's probably less qualified, less competent, and gives it to somebody else. That is nepotism. An actor giving a role to his son or somebody giving to his brother is not nepotism. वो तो उत्तराधिकारी है, is the heir apparent, उसको ही जाएगा और किसी को नहीं जाने वाला. That's not nepotism at all. That's not even favoritism. That's the way it is. A doctor's son will be a doctor, an actor's son will be an actor.
He will be inclined to it. वो उस माहौल में बड़ा होता है.
नहीं, if I am the producer, say I have the money, it is my will who I would cast as in my film, in my movie. It's my money. I would burn it, I will throw it, I will distribute it, whatever. It's my will. But it doesn't happen. It doesn't so happen in government offices. There are jobs assigned. There are people who, are qualified enough to be there, but they are sidelined and sidetracked because somebody more powerful is sitting out there who controls everything. But out here, it's an open field. But yes, there is favoritism. There is groupism. There is a cabal. There is a clique that works. So in that clique, in that group, no one else is allowed to enter. So they would, when they start casting for a movie and start making a film, they will cast only those people who are part of the group, part of the clique. And and thereby you lose an opportunity to work because it's sort of fortified.
So what you're saying is nepotism and favoritism are words which have got intermixed.
Yes. It's not, nepotism is absolutely incorrect.
That just reminds me, though I'm not connecting it to nepotism, you made a film for Adhyayan Heartless.
Correct.
It didn't click.
Correct.
For whatever reason.
Right.
After that, you didn't try your hand in that same region.
I did. Well, that happened because I had a great subject in hand. And I felt the urge to make a film then. Because it was based on anesthesia awareness. It was made on the sacrifice of a mother. And it was somewhere inherently connected to my personal life.
Yeah.
I'd lost my elder son to a dreaded disease. And, he was terminally ill with no cure to it. That was the film all about, and how the mother gives her own heart to save her son. But after that, and it was, it followed as a natural corollary that I cast Adhyayan for that role. He was my son. He was a great actor, and he was part of the tragedy when it happened. Though he was very, very young, very small.
Just about 7, I think.
Yes, around 6, 7. Very, very, very small. But after that, that I had invested in the film financially as well, and that was a lot of money lost. So I had to think twice about making a film for the second time, and I did not run into a subject good enough that inspired me. So, but I'm on the brink again of directing a film. Yes, something very, very interesting. I'll talk about as soon as Heeramandi is over. Then I'll tell you. But the subject has to be extremely good. And something that, anesthesia awareness is not something that India was aware of. There's still a lot of people who don't know what anesthesia awareness is. So it was a sort of a medical thriller. I thought I was scaring people, who probably ever had to go to a hospital, and they would realize what if they went through anesthesia awareness. But that's the truth, that anesthesia awareness happens to anyone. It can happen to anyone, where your body gets paralyzed, but you are awake from inside. And when you hear that somebody is going to kill you, and that to your own mentor, your elder brother, or your father-like figure, you're so helpless, you don't know what to do. So that was a very interesting premise, and how the mother figures in and then sort of sacrifices her own heart to save her son. I thought that was a brilliant story that, about the man who was left in the lurch and betrayed, who says कि मैं ढूंढने को ज़माने में जब वफा निकला पता चला कि मैं गलत लेके पता निकला. That was so beautifully put. And so I waited long enough for a subject, and I have conceived a subject. I thought of it. And I'd soon be making a movie.
Okay. You also were thinking of putting Dekh Bhai Dekh back together, either on TV or on the OTT.
Yes. The process is on. We are very close to that.
Yeah.
Very, very close. Yes. It has to be more of an endeavor from Mr. Mahendru's side, because it is his subject. It was his series. But we both got together, and that a lot of people, they still live in that past where Dekh Bhai Dekh happened. They remember all the characters. And I think one of the most loving series ever made about a family, which was so, so beautiful. And Anand was trying to make a film on that, and he had cast Adhyayan also, but things didn't materialize. But he's got all the scripts ready. We have spoken to a big production house. They are very, very keen and gung-ho about it. So I would not like to talk about it till it happens, because I always feel that whenever you talk about it, there is something that goes wrong. So, but it's on the brink right now. It should happen.
So you also, Adhyayan also in that?
Adhyayan I don't know, but definitely the entire cast.
Okay. So you will get everybody in.
Everybody
as
in,
much as possible.
except the ones who are not there.
Yeah.
Like the Dadaji is not there.
Yeah.
Naveen Nischal ji is not there. Yeah, 2-3 people.
But such beautiful comedy, and there were other shows also, of course, Ye Jo Hai Zindagi and so many.
No, but I tell you what, why Dekh Bhai Dekh was so different from all the rest of the sitcoms. It was very urbane. The style and the flavor of it. No other serial in India had that. No other serial. Believe me, the way they dressed up, the way they spoke, very urban, but very traditional at heart.
Correct.
Now, that was a very lethal combination. Where in a family, they cared for you or each other as much as they cared for the servant. He is also part of the family. That kind of emotions, nobody has ever been able to express it the way Mr. Mahendra did in Dekh Bhai Dekh. And even the sets, it was a huge set put up in RK Studios, the way first time a multicam was used, and so the edit was really fast, and it had a kind of a pace which no other series had.
Yeah.
They were good, but they were a little tacky. Dekh Bhai Dekh was absolutely, it had all the finesse of like an international sitcom.
So, Dekh Bhai Dekh, and as I said, Ye Jo Hai Zindagi, but where is all that gone? Why has comedy just disappeared? And where are the comedians? Do you see anybody around?
Why have all the emotions disappeared? Why have all those beautiful emotions disappeared? What you call, I don't know, I'm fighting for a longest time. I hate this word called comedy. This is a part of our lives. There's different sides to it. It's a different emotion that brings a smile to your face.
Yeah.
When you say comedy, I feel that it suddenly becomes very pedestrian. And I never agreed to the fact that on Moors and Shakers I was doing stand-up comedy. No, I wasn't. I was talking to my audience. It was a dialogue.
But in a humorous way.
In a satirical way.
Okay.
It was. So there is a difference between, a little difference between satire, wit, humor, and comedy is the last of it, in the lowest echelon. It was something that was there in the erstwhile days, but it should be completely be done away with. Because in the name of so-called comedy, there's a lot of horror that's being, meted out to you.
Yeah.
So one should completely stay away from it. But coming back to Dekh Bhai Dekh, and that kind of love and emotion and the inherent humor in it was very well sort of sewn into it. Very subtly. It was very, very subtle. It was not in your face. But in today's time, I feel that with the advent of the social media, the people have become very hard-hearted, very harsh towards each other, very judgmental. And somewhere that camaraderie, that sense of humanity is lost. Everybody is out there to prove himself or herself, to be the front runner, be in the front line. Nobody is appreciative, everybody is judgmental. So you will see there's a lot of trolling that happens. No matter what you do, what you say, there's always the other side to it.
Yeah.
If you wear black, then you are a dark guy, you are a black guy, you are a crow, you are a dog, you are what? Why don't you wear white? If you wear white, what happened? You lost your parents, or you lost this, somebody dead in your family.
Yeah.
So they're that vicious.
Yeah.
You said, so where do you go? There is no escape. You're caught up in that
vortex.
Yes, in that confusion, and you're caught up in that mess, and it's disheartening. It's very sad. Things are happening like that in all spheres of life. I mean, we talked about journalism right in the beginning. You see it for yourself. You are a journalist.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it because I'll sound probably biased or colored. But if you know it in your heart of hearts, whether you talk about it or you don't talk about it, you know how much of a beating the integrity has taken now. The fearlessness that we were talking about, being a journalist, meant a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. There was the final word, the gospel truth, what they talked about. Now, you hear them with so much of trepidation. You're not sure whether they have their palms have been greased or they are biased because of a certain reason. What is it that they are not the same they used to be? What has happened? You would have the answer. I don't know.
Let me ask you a question on that.
Okay.
So, how many stories you believe today when you read? Say, if you read 5 stories in a day, whether it's entertainment, whether it's politics, whether it's
Unfortunately,
crime,
even the
whatever.
true stories get lost because most of them is a PR exercise. The journalists have been paid, the reviews have been bought, all the numbers have been manipulated. So, where is the veracity of it? Where is the honesty of it? How do you believe that article?
But you haven't stopped reading
I haven't.
them.
I haven't stopped reading. I have stopped believing them. Of course, it's in front of you. You go through it, pay a cursory glance, and you laugh it out. I say, here comes another false story. एक झूठी कहानी फिर से गढ़ी गई. एक झूठा वृतांत, एक झूठा किस्सा फिर आपके सामने परोसा गया और आपसे कहा जा रहा है बिलीव कीजिए इसे, आपको करना पड़ेगा. But that's the way the world has become now. Take it or leave it. There's nothing you can do about it. One has to stop complaining because you are, as I said, you are caught up in that mesh. Mess and mesh both.
Yeah.
So there is no exit door. You have to live with it, with all the poison, with all that is around you.
I'm seeing the beautiful usage of words here. I mean, not now, but right from the beginning you started talking. You haven't felt the urge to write?
Yes. I write a lot.
Yeah.
I do write a lot.
But columns and put out your views. And again, I'm coming back to that, put out your views.
Again, we come back to the same thing, whether my views would be allowed or not. I think
So you don't want to write?
I want to write. I will.
Out there in public domain.
Yes, I will. I'll give it a try. I'll see what happens. Let's see. I'm prepared for it.
How many brickbats you get? You want to see that?
Yeah, maybe bouquets will also come my way. You never know. I'll count the bouquets. I'll ignore the brickbats.
So tell me back to what you're doing now. I mean, after Heeramandi, what's happening?
Right now, sort of possessed and obsessed by Heeramandi.
Yes.
Because it makes for a better CV for an actor.
Yeah.
Exciting. I think when you work with the best, you give your best and the best comes out. So I think this is a mammoth, this is a huge sort of a venture. And I always call Mr. Bhansali an alchemist. He's a magician that he conjures up things which you have not envisaged or imagined right on the set, that there is, it's an open field. Play it the way you want to. So if you are a good player, you will have it your way. If you're not, you will end up with 100 retakes. But a man who is so possessed by his craft and is growing by the moment, you learn a lot. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to have started with a movie called Utsav, where you had all these greats like Girish Karnad and Shashi Kapoor, and I had the best. I waited for so long, except that one place or one series that I got that got me another one, a maestro called Anand Mahendru, who was a stickler for perfection, and he just created a different world than the rest of the world that was being created around us. And then this. I mean, there were successful films, there were successful shows, but the feeling of contentment and satisfaction is something which is like few and far between, and that often eludes you. And you keep waiting. And as an actor, I think I'm probably, I don't know whether I should be saying it, I'm the most untapped, undiscovered actor. There is so much more to give.
I agree.
You do. There is so much that I can do.
I don't think the industry has given you your due.
No, not a fair chance, not at all. So for whatever reasons, and this is not a question that I keep asking myself. This is a question not just asked by my family, by my wife, my friends, by my fans. The world asks me this question. When I go out there on stage, when I play Sadat Hasan Manto, when I play Sahir, when there's when I recite nazms, or the way I speak, and all the characters, he says, why don't we see you like this on the screen? I said, I have no answer. You have to ask them. I mean, something that I want to do which is completely unhinged, unabashed, something completely out of this world, and I'm prepared for that. And they should allow me to do it, damn it. What the hell?
But you don't pick up the phone and call up the filmmakers,
No.
okay, I want to work with you.
No.
Maybe not today, but say 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
I never did that.
Why?
Dignity. I thought I'd lose my dignity doing that. That though I don't have any complaints or anything against people who do this. Maybe that's the norm. That's the way it should be done. I'm told that if you don't ask, you won't get it. Because people like to be pampered. People like to feel important. So go and ask. Please think about me. Please give me a role. And I think I'm there. My body of work is there. That guy should know that, if I'm casting, how did Mr. Bhansali think of me? I didn't go to him. Say, give me a role. It came to me. And then there is that feeling of self-esteem, that pride. You feel so good that, somebody like him thought of you. Why aren't others, what are others waiting for? For me to pick up the phone and call them and beg for a role? Asking is what? Is a euphemism. It's actually begging. That's the way I think of it. Why do you need to ask? Even a beggar out there on the street asks for money. We say he's begging, but he's asking. Asking is begging. Please, please, please think of me. Please keep it in your project. Please keep it in your mind. Please, sir, please.
You've
please.
seen actors doing that.
All the time.
Big actors doing that.
Big actors. And sometimes, I was calling a casting, one of the big casting agents called me and I said, how does this work? Have things changed that you have to call up casting agents, you have to call up directors? He says, unfortunately, yes. So I said, the bigger actors also call up? He says, only the bigger actors call up, and they call up more often. And they call up, and they're persistent. And I was surprised that even they need to do that. So, to each his own, I guess, nothing against them. But for me, that it will probably, I'll die a little every time I have to ask. That's the way I've been brought up. That's the way I am. So I have lost out on a lot because I won't bend, but I'm open. There is a very thin line of just being receptive or being just sort of giving out signals that I'm open to good work and sycophancy. I would never ever be a bootlicker. Even if it means that's the end of my career, I would never do that. And that's why I wanted Adhyayan to be firmly on his feet, trying it out, be perseverant, be diligent, have faith in himself and keep fighting. Even he was picked, when he was standing at the end of the queue, he was picked up by Mr. Bhansali. For Mr. Bhansali to repose that kind of confidence in him, can you imagine, has elevated Adhyayan's confidence to such great heights. Now he's far more confident than he was before he got this. And it's a great feeling. That validation is a great feeling.
Right.
Whatever happens after that, no one knows. Not that you become like a superstar overnight, but you feel good about yourself that somebody has noticed your work.
Yeah, your self-esteem.
Somebody has appreciated your work. That's a wonderful feeling.
Tell me your first meeting with Bhansali. Or for Heeramandi.
For Heeramandi. Well, as you know that long ago, around 2001, before he was making Devdas, suddenly I get a call on my landline and he says, hello, may I speak with Shekhar Suman? I said, speaking. He says, I'm Sanjay Leela Bhansali. And we had met once briefly at Prakash Mehra's theatre, which
at Juhu.
At Juhu.
Yeah.
It used to be in Horizon.
Yeah.
And we had got around talking. He was a young guy, and he said, we'll work together one day, and then that was forgotten. And suddenly I get this call, and he said, I'm making this film called Devdas, in one of my favorite films, and he said, Shah Rukh is doing Devdas, he's playing Devdas, Aishwarya is Paro, and Madhuri is Chandramukhi. I said, you want me to play Chunila? Yeah, that's an obvious conclusion. So he said, yes. And I was so thrilled. And I said, wow, fantastic. Because I remember having seen the film multiple times, and I remember Motilal ji doing that great scene of putting his stick on the shadow. And it was a great role. But unfortunately, I was caught up with Movers and Shakers and many other projects. I was working nearly 50 days a month.
Yeah.
And for me, it was impossible. So you can imagine how helpless I felt to say no. And I said, I'm not saying no, I'm unable to do it. But I somewhere felt that even if I said I was unable to do, a director probably would not take it in the right way. It would be, I offered you a role, you're saying no to me kind of thing. But it wasn't like that. He understood me. He understood the situation. And then, we waited, and then he offered. And during Ganpati festivals, I'll go to his house once in a while. We had that connection, the once a year kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So when the call came from his office, I was very, very happy. And I met him on the set the first time.
Okay,
I never had any meeting with him. And so I was briefly told about the role that I was supposed to essay. And I said, I've just loved the fact that I'm going to be part of such a beautiful project. And we are both have very controlled sort of emotions. We are not like the one who will go and hug and shout and all of that. They're very controlled. And he smiled, and I smiled, and we said that, it's great that we are working together eventually. And I do remember that when the first scene was being enacted, normally a director would come to your van or come to you, or you go to the director, sit, understand the scene. With him, no. The assistants will come and explain you the scene. You go on the set, and then there would be a sort of an interaction with the director, and he will tell you the basics, what is to be done.
Yeah.
With him, it was right from the beginning, minimal instruction to the actor. Because somewhere you have that respect for each other, and you know where I'm coming from, that you would know that I would not need that kind of prodding. I would understand, and at best, director would say, avoid this or avoid that. But what to do is something that should come from within. And normally, like any other actor, I just went completely prepared with my lines, what was given to me, with my own interpretation, everything. When the scene was just about to begin, he called me and he said, I have thought of a bizarre interpretation of this. Are you open to it? I said, yes. And he completely turned it around. And it was something that nobody had thought. I mean, the 80s were like this because, it was a scene.
It wasn't in the script.
No, not at all.
Just impulsively, that moment. Looking at you, looking at the scene.
I don't know, looking at what. Because he's constantly thinking.
Yeah.
Because dynamics change on the sets.
Yeah.
It's like a cricketer, no matter how much of a net practice you do, when you go, then you have to rely on your instincts and your intuitions.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't think I've learned it like this, but let me play the ball like this. It's like that. So he out of the blue, he thought that probably this is done to death kind of a thing. Let me do it this way. So it's about this Nawab who's pissed drunk, he's peeing out of a carriage, he's pulled by Malika Jan, and he's sort of trying to, in his state of inebriation, trying to make it out with her. He said, no, he turns the other way around. And then he takes a fellatio, sort of an oral sex, midair, thinking that Malika Jan is sitting that side. And he's convinced because he's Nawab and he's turned, so he won't turn back. So Malika Jan says, what are you doing? I'm here. He says, no, I know what I'm doing and I know you are here. So that was a very strange interpretation, and that has not been done by any actor or director ever before, that somebody is having sex midair, and but done nicely. So I said, I'm fine if you say no, because I just thought of it. Do you find it too bizarre? I said, no, nothing is bizarre. In this life, nothing is bizarre. I have heard such stories that when you hear, your eyes pop out of your sockets. I mean, it can never happen, but it has happened. So there are strange people with strange idiosyncrasies, strange behavior, strange mindsets. And I said I would do it. And it was first take. Now, a drunken scene, somebody is in a state of stupor, and that becomes a very difficult scene to perform if you're in a state of stupor. Because then either you are over or you're under. You're not just, you don't get the right sur.
You can start hamming at times.
Hamming majestically. You know, so, but somehow I understood the tonality of it. I understood the gravitas of it. And it sort of, the scene also brings out the pathos of the scene that I was enacting and the pathos of being a Nawab. That look at this man, like when you see a rich man misbehaving himself in the midst of a party and I said, oh my God, you know, or who's just fallen off in the drain somewhere, he's lying around and everybody knows, oh my God, he's like a rich guy and look at his state. So you look at this Nawab who is the head of the Nawabs and look at him. Now, and I did that. As I said, I did that very instinctively. And he came running and he said, magnificent, magnificent. So that was it. That was it. And it was a backup after that, and all the technicians came running. He said, sir, thank you. Otherwise, this scene would have gone on and on because the way he is, he's a stickler. If any other actor had not caught the sur, then it would be another 6 hours, 7, 8 hours. But it just happened so right because I knew that the person who's standing in front of me, what he has explained to me and what I have assimilated, the outcome is going to be just right.
But is he a stickler for many things? Like I've heard so many stories, पीछे थोड़ा धूल भी होगा तो he'll shout, even though it may be barely in the frame.
Kuch bhi. That was also like Anand Mahendru used to be like that. Anand Mahendru used to be like that. Girish Karnad was like that. Our man is, as I don't call him a maestro or naughty, just like that, you know. He would be taking a shot like this and he would say, that guy is standing, his hair out of place, his cap is awry, is not aligned. That painting is टेढ़ा,
थोड़ा इधर उधर,
थोड़ा इधर, वो धूल लग रही है वहां पर, it's little dusty out here. Clean it till it's picture perfect. He would okay. It has to be picture perfect, and even in performance is to be 100%.
But the flip side of it is possible. Again, it's very possible from a layman point of view. I may be wrong that the actor is waiting for so long, and he may just lose the emotion.
Then he's not an actor.
Okay.
Then he's not an actor. That's
a very good point.
That an actor is like a soldier waiting for his enemy to attack. He says, now 12 hours I've been waiting. Now I'm tired, I want to go home. Does it happen? No, he's there. Whenever the enemy comes, he starts fighting. Whether it's snowing, whether it's like, hot and sultry, whether it's 50 degrees or whether it's underground, whether it's flying up in the air, he is prepared. You have to have that preparedness of a soldier. Even in 2 days, 3 days, Mr. Bhansali says you sit there and keep doing it if you're a goddamn actor. And never say, now I'm tired, I'm losing my concentration. You better not. Then get the hell out of this place. You have no business to be an actor. You should be happy there is somebody who's investing so much of time and so much of, looking for so much of perfection that it will be recorded for posterity. Whenever you will look back with so much of glee and pride. And that's why one has so much of respect for him. And all these rumors about that he's very hot-tempered, that he loses his temper and all of that, they're just rumors. They're just rumors. Everybody gets a little impatient. You and I will get impatient. Yeah. Because sometimes
we do.
All of us do. But that's not losing temper. That's why getting impatient, because there is time, there is money involved in it. There are other actors also waiting. It's because of your lack of understanding or of a scene or not being able to do it. That becomes a little sort of unfair to the director. So he gets a little impatient. But the way he mollycoddles, the way he pampers his actors is no one's business.
I think all that we are asking for is competence.
Competence.
Which we are not getting.
Which is not getting. That's it. he wants to see that brilliance, he wants to see that excellence, where he wants to sort of stand up and give you a standing ovation for every scene. He's that kind of a man. For Adhyayan, he did that. A newcomer, for the first scene itself, he stood up, clapped, hugged him, cried, all of that happened. You can imagine what happened to him when he called up, and then calls me up, which is so unusual. Mr. Bhansali calling me up and then praising him to the skies for 10 minutes. Even, at his back, he's praising him to his colleagues. That's his real validation. That's what Mr. Bhansali is all about. He takes you to a visceral tour of the character. He gets you to the gut of it and then, catches it by its throat. That sort of, and of course his larger than life perception of everything, cinema at its best. The magnitude, the opulence and all of that, the music and the sets, the costumes, oh my God. An actor really doesn't have to work that hard because half the job is done. If you create that atmosphere, if the director explains you the character, you get into the costume and everything is right, you'll get it right. You'll get the character right. There's no way you can go wrong.
Lovely usage of words, but lovely analogies too from you. That one which you said for a soldier.
Yes.
Who's waiting and waiting, but still so alert.
Yes, so alert.
An actor should be.
Right. Always on his toes. He can never say, I'm tired now. Oh my God, how long? I'm losing my concentration. No, that's wrong. Completely wrong.
I would have concluded with that.
Yes.
With that praise showered on you from my side, which is so justified. But
we can still edit it and cut it there and say thank you.
No. I want to ask you one more question without which the interview will be incomplete. You have imitated Vajpayee ji and you saw...
I have not imitated him.
Okay.
Now again, I want to correct you.
Yeah.
I'm an impressionist in that sense.
You have essayed him.
I've essayed him. That's the correct.
Yes.
I've essayed him.
I got that word essay initially from you.
Yes.
But let me ask you, did you see the Pankaj Tripathi film where he essayed Vajpayee?
No. I will see it. I haven't.
I wanted to ask you what you thought of him.
Well, he's a great actor. And I'm sure he must
in that
Oh,
character.
I haven't seen. I haven't seen him. But I would have probably done a delectable Vajpayee ji. That's very emotional, poetic, academic, very soft Vajpayee ji. And of course the danger is always there when you're doing it, that it probably will border on caricature, but once you have, as I said, when you essay that character, when you essay it, when you express your feelings just the right way, you become the character. And that is where the trick lies, of becoming a character.
You must start writing. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shekhar.
Thank you. Always a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.